Now, people are going to be prosecuted because they're exercising their constitutional rights.
No, you are getting it wrong. You don't.
The question is that are they aware? Will any citizen be prosecuted for an offense he or she is not aware of? And that's why we're asking, where is the court order? How many you went to court ex parte to get the court order, but you never made it available to Nigerians.
They were arrested not for carrying out their lawful duties, but for contravening a valid court order.
A court order that was not made available to the public.
The court order is there. And in our statement on Saturday, we mentioned the courts, we mentioned the judge, we mentioned the court order number, we mentioned everything.
Right. So as yesterday protest has come and gone, I want to beg you to take a little time and listen to what Nigerian police officer has to say about the shooting they did yesterday. Because the host in this interview asked him why they were shooting and attacking those that were protesting peacefully. I want to beg you to take a little time and listen to what he said. Because I tell you that Nigeria is not just a lawless country. Nigeria is a country where the leaders do things as they wish. They don't care what the law say or says. They don't care. They don't send anybody. All they want is what that will interest them, or they want to do it to the best of their, their interests. So I want to beg you to take a little time and listen to him. Don't forget, according to Sowore, he said that another day will be fixed for this protest, that it has not ended and it will never end until they release Nnamdi Kanu. Honestly, I love the courage of that man. Seeing what happened yesterday, they shot this man tear gas in many places. Still, he persisted. He went from one place to another. Anyway, I'll still bring that update because he has dropped an update that another date will be fixed for that protest, or for the protest to continue. So now I want to beg you to take a little time to watch what the Nigerian officers have to say about the shooting they did yesterday.
We're asking, where the court order? How many you went to court ex parte to get the court order, but you never made it available to Nigerians.
They were arrested not for carrying out their lawful duties, but for contravening a valid court order.
A court order that was not made available to the public.
The court order is there. And in our statement on Saturday, we mentioned the courts, we mentioned the judge, we mentioned the court order number, we mentioned everything. We were so plain, we made it clear, and we also warned that anybody that contravened that court order would be arrested. We made it clear.
So, is the police aware of a possible optics of what happened today? Whether or not the police is on the side of the people or on the side against the people? Is police aware and managing these optics?
Well, I don't think it's as bad as you make it look.
If you need that, make it look.
No, as you're painting, I don't think it's as bad as you are painting. A couple of, in fact, do you know, this happened in Abuja, and one man carried a placard in Lagos, and a few people in Abia State, and that's all. No other states. So these people came out, and we tried our best. We managed the situation. I think we deserve commendation for
protest ground. And how did it turn out to be tear gas and allegations of live bullets being used on the day Nigerians are commemorating 5 years of police brutality during the NSAS protests?
Thank you very much. The brief was there is a court order saying protesters are not to go to certain areas, clearly spelled out in the court order and clearly spelled out in the statement we issued on Saturday. And so for anybody trying to go into these areas, they will be stopped with minimal force. They will be arrested if they actually do go into these areas, and they will be investigated and prosecuted. That was spelled out clearly in our statement. That was the brief. And today, some people indeed marched into these areas, and they were arrested. And we also used minimal force commensurate with the resistance we got. And that was the use of tear gas to disperse the crowd. It worked. No injury, and the protesters were dispersed. And this came after several warnings for them to disperse. So the excuse of, oh, there were people with health concerns does not come up, because they were clearly warned that you need to disperse, you are violating a court order, or else we're going to use tear gas. Now, the issue of live bullets, there was absolutely no use of live bullets. It's very common for people to think that the popping sound, the explosion-like sound they hear when tear gas is fired, is that of live bullets. But I can tell you on good authority that live bullet was not used today.
Okay, great. So these areas that were outlawed or banned, the 3 armed zones, the courts, and
Eagle Square,
National Assembly,
Force Headquarters, Shehu Shagari Way.
But the protesters, some were arrested and tear gas were used at Transcorp.
Yeah.
So the argument is Transcorp was not on that list. How come you dispersed peaceful protest there. How do you respond to that?
Transcorp is just like a feeder route into Shehu Shagari Way. So,
but it is not Shehu Shagari Way.
Like I said, they were moving into restricted area. In fact, some of them did move into restricted area. So for other protesters that did not contravene the court order, yes, there was no confrontation. But for these ones, that was the main reason they were actually arrested.
Can you confirm, you've just told us that there were arrests made, like we've heard. Can you confirm to us the numbers of people that were arrested and what next?
So initially in the morning, we had 8 people, including Nnamdi Kanu's brother, Kanu, and Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer, Dr. Barrister Aloy, and 6 others, making 8. But much later, 5 people were added to it, 5 other people were arrested, making a total of 13. So we have 13 people in our custody. Statements have been taken, investigation is being wrapped up as I speak, and first thing tomorrow morning, they're going to be prosecuted. We can assure you that they won't spend up to 24 hours in our custody. And
these arrests were done where? In one sport or different sports? We can highlight that for us.
Yes.
Because we also told journalists were among those you arrested today, including international journalists.
This morning, one international journalist was brought to the state, the FCT command headquarters in Abuja, because the arresting officers mistook him for a protester, but he identified himself immediately and he was released. I can confirm that he was released immediately. He identified himself. So I'm answering your question. Yes, some people were arrested around Transcorp after they made their way into Shehu Shagari, while others were arrested around Ministry of Finance, also within the restricted area.
We are aware that there were also gatherings of those who were against counter-protesters in some parts of Abuja today, but there was no security presence or tear gassing of those people. Why? What was the reason for that? Was it because they were not part of the outlawed areas? Why did the police not disperse such gatherings?
Number one, there's a court order mentioning where gatherings should not take place. So that was a focus. Like you asked at the beginning, what brief did we give our men?
Yes.
So that was part of it. Number two, we didn't get reports of any of protesters in other parts of Abuja causing traffic gridlock, preventing other Nigerians from moving. If that had come up, definitely we would have responded and made sure that the roads were clear.
Tear gassing, was it necessary? When you say that's the minimal force you could use, was that absolutely necessary?
Standard operation procedures. It's not just Nigeria. World over, police forces have tear gas, and if we give that warning to protesters not to go beyond certain areas, especially in this case as provided for by court order, and they decide to be confrontational, trust me, tear gas is way better, far better than using live bullets. Thankfully, we did not use any live bullets. So yes, if you ask me that if this situation presented itself tomorrow, would we use tear gas? Absolutely, we would, because that's the minimal force we could use in this instance.
I had a lawyer just in that state before you came on, a senior advocate of Nigeria, and one of the questions he brought up in response to my question was, you had an ex parte judgment. Was it served? Did you serve that to the protesters? I'd like to ask that. And two, just as I let you go, is the force concerned about the perception that when you have anti-government protests, regardless of court orders or not, it usually will end up in police brutality? Is that a concern for the Nigerian police force in the image?
Well, it depends on the protesters. In this same country, we've had protests where everything went absolutely right. We've had protests where the police provided water and cookies to protesters and it went well. So it all depends on the protesters if they choose to be law-abiding or choose to be very unruly. The court order, the statement we issued on Saturday, we made it clear in that statement. We talked about the particular court, we talked about the judge, we talked about the number, the document number. We made everything clear. And this came out on Friday. In fact, on that order, it's also made it clear that the other party should be in court this morning by 9 a.m. So we hid nothing. We made everything clear. And we also made it clear to Nigerians that we're going to enforce that order.
A good place to leave it. Thank you so much for telling us the side of your story today. The spokesperson.
A Nigerian state cannot afford another civil war. What has just happened today is just a total plot that was premeditated, that was well orchestrated and well funded. And you can see from the foregoing circumstances, Showore himself was aware there was a court order. They violated every inch of that court order. And does that mean a presidential candidate of another political party who is just an opposition, also had one or two issues that he is also promoting, which is anti-democracy. And it's a politically intended protest to destabilize the country. This protest is against the judiciary, and I'm very much disappointed seeing Mr. Roy Ajoko, who is the lawyer to Nnamdi Kanu, at that same rally. Is a prejudice. As a lawyer, you are not intended to equally raise such intentions against a sitting court that is ongoing in a matter. And specifically, we have to go down to memory lane. Who is this person that is undergoing criminal prosecution? That is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He has a record, criminal record that showed how people were massacred upon his instructions, and several other carnage.
Has issued a statement, and some of the things you've said is why we have brought you here to explain. You say that today's protest was a decoy to set the nation ablaze. And can you tell us on what specific intelligence or evidence are you basing that on?
Well, basically, we have to look at the dramatic personnel of the entire protest. It's a politically intended protest to destabilize the country. This protest is against the judiciary, and I'm very much disappointed seeing Mr. Roy Ajoko, who is the lawyer to Nnamdi Kanu, at that same rally. Is a prejudice. As a lawyer, you are not intended to equally raise such intentions against a sitting court that is ongoing in a matter. And specifically, we have to go down to memory lane. Who is this person that is undergoing criminal prosecution? That is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He has a record, criminal record that showed how people were massacred upon his instructions, and several other carnage that were carried out by the IPOB and the ESN. Now, Sowore had gone far and wide to destabilize this country. He found solace in the Oheze Ndigbo and some other Igbo group trying to use and play the ethnic card, having lost validation of some of his antics. Now going further to using the Nnamdi Kanu as a decoy is a total destabilization. Looking at the entire protest today validate our fears, which is Atiku Abubakar equally solidarized. It shows that these are the hands of Esau that are really against the state, and Nigerian state cannot afford another civil war. What has just happened today is just a total plot that was premeditated, that was well orchestrated and well funded. And you can see from the foregoing circumstances, Sowore himself was aware there was a court order. They violated every inch of that court order. And does that mean a presidential candidate of another political party, who is just an opposition, also had one or two issues that he is also promoting, which is anti-democracy? And for us, as a coalition of Southern groups, we sat and we looked at the entire scenario. If these protests were geared towards something that has to do with our democracy, we will all rally around. Democracy is for all of us. But this is not a protest. This is a plot to cause war. And we have seen every ingredient of it, that it is a means to mislead the Igbo people. The Igbo people are our friends. We don't have any enemy in the Igbo people. But nobody should use them as a cannon fodder to mislead them into what they have no intentions to be part of.
Senior advocate, back into this conversation. Mr. Hassan, let me just ask you, if you have so much evidence, concrete evidence, as you say, would you be pushing this further, other than this press statement, to say this was a decoy to set the nation ablaze? What are you going to be doing with your evidence?
Yes. Yes, from the last End Bad Governance protest, go and look at the old rhetorics, was to shut down and commit the government into disarray. That was one of the agendas Sowore has been promoting. And I've stand to correct it that you are not the only activist that can be telling the whole world that you have a monopoly to put us into this kind of charades. If you have one or two intent to project, this should not be the only means. The only means you understand in your life, must it be protest? Are you born to be a protester? Can't you just have another means of conversing with the government, or putting up a write-up, of going directly to National Assembly if you have an agenda that is positively intended to project the state? For the fact that we've seen all these evidences, and these are prima facie evidence. It is not that we are manufacturing one. Sowore has always been on the heels of creating trouble. For being a troublemaker under the guise of, say, okay, you want to be a showman, by maybe bringing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to the table, let him face the judiciary process. You cannot intimidate the judiciary. I'm a lawyer, for God's sake.
All right.
I cannot
And that's why I asked you that question, Mr. Hassan.
In a matter you are part of.
But I think you missed the point to say that. I was asking if you have so much evidence against you.
Go and lead the
what are you doing with your evidence?
The matter is defending.
Great. All right. Let me bring back.
The evidences will be, no, as far as we are concerned, we are going to ensure that the law take its course in this respect. All right, okay then. Let there be proper adjudicatory process and proper investigation of this scenario. The DSS must look into this, the NS office must look into this, and the IGP. Okay. We need to have a lawful society.
All right.
We cannot continue.
All right, Mr. Hassan, hold your thoughts. Hold your thoughts.
Is a lawful
let me bring back Senior Advocate of Nigeria into this conversation. Thank you for your patience. Before I went to Lagos, you asked a question and you answered that. I mean, is it the right time to go on the streets? And you answered in the negative, saying no. But when the fight for justice leaves the courtroom to the streets, does that not suggest a significant issue in the process of justice adjudication, particularly when similar cases abroad, like that of Simon Ekpa, were concluded in Finland very swiftly? So can you really blame those who feel frustrated with the course of justice when it comes to Nnamdi Kanu?
The matter is still in court. Whether you like it or not, it's in court. The question you ask yourself, who are the causes of the delay in the trial of Kanu?
You are in the system. Tell us.
So
why
you know yourself that Kanu himself, through his lawyers, had made several applications to the court. And in fact, this matter has traveled upstairs. They come back. That's to show you that it was fought. So justice, when you say that you want justice, again, sometimes you need to exercise patience. So, but justice delayed is justice denied. We agree, but justice delayed is justice denied. It's not sacrosanct. There are times that you need to take time to gather evidence. When you rush justice again, you amount to injustice. So the issue now is this: the matter is in court. The prosecution has called all their witnesses and closed the case. Nnamdi Kanu Council have raised no case submission. The no case submission has been dismissed. Now the matter is adjourned to 22nd or thereabout for the defendant to open his case. Then why are we in a hurry? Why are you not eager to bring your witness, defend yourself if you are sure of what you are doing? Allow the court to at least exhaust the entire gamut of the time, allow the court to do justice. So upon the conclusion of the case, you still have the right of appeal. The Court of Appeal, I mean, High Court, Federal High Court judge is one that will preside over your matter. But Court of Appeal is 3. Now, if you allege tribalism, now the man there is a Yoruba man, is an Hausa man, I will not get justice. Okay, let's agree. But you have a right of appeal to the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal will comprise 3 persons. So they may not be Hausa as a whole or whatever. Now, at the end of the day, you have complete composition. Now, these people, if the High Court is in error, they may likely correct that error. Now, if the Court of Appeal is in error, then the Supreme Court is still there. The wisest man. So my position is this: why don't you exhaust the mechanism allowed by the law? And if you are not satisfied, then take it to the public court with your protest on the street. As simple as ABC. Because you are not satisfied with the judgment handed down by the court, the hierarchy of courts, then you can now say, I am not satisfied. Public, please help us.
The waiting game continues, is what you say.
It's not a waiting game. It's not a waiting game. If you want to accelerate justice, if Nnamdi Kanu want to accelerate justice, you can do that. Stop frivolous applications.
Great. All right. Senior Advocate, I'm getting reports by journalists saying that, they cover this protest. The protesters were attacked unprovoked by the Nigerian police with tear gas, and they were not even in those places that were outlawed by the court. So how do you respond to that? To say, they were unprovoked, they didn't have any arms or ammunition on them, but they were tear gas and dispersed.
If the police attack the protesters outside the prescribed area, then they have violated the law.
They can't seek recourse.
They can.
Okay.
The right to recourse, the right to remedy. When there is wrong, there is remedy. So if a wrong is alleged, then you can go to court to seek remedy. It's their right. They can do that. But if you carry out your protest where the court has restricted you not to go to, then there's no remedy available to you.
All right. Your last word, Mr. Hassan, on this matter. Do you accept that Nigerians do have the right to protest? And if yes, can they also say the same of you, stopping them from their protests? You are calling on President Bola Tinubu not to be intimidated and take any actions on this. The protesters can also accuse you of what you accuse them of.
Let us have a straight conversation here. The president is a separate institution that they are bringing into this matter, which is the executive. And I believe if Sowore were to be president today, I'm sure he will run a banana republic. But somebody who does not have a program, all is intended is to legalize marijuana. For us, we have a whole lot to galvanize as a nation. This country needs all of us to rally around President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to sustain our democracy. And this is a Democrat. If it were to be an authoritarian leader at the ends of our affair, Shore wouldn't have even seen the light of the day to do this kind of a protest. Because this protest, from the word go, is illegal. Because the person that you are protesting on his behalf, Nnamdi Kanu, actually, in the four eyes of the whole world, demanded that people be killed on every Monday. Anybody that violates his order on the sit-at-home order. We are all aware when the husband of Dora Akunyili was shot dead, when a lot of priests and clergy were being killed under the orders of this same man. And I wouldn't know how a lot of our Igbo brothers will now take it up as a sentiment. This is not a matter of sentiment. Let the law take its course. And nobody should intimidate the judiciary.
That's a good place to leave this conversation.
Let justice be manifestly seen to be done. Let them go through the horde of their opening their cases, and let them push up their evidence. But nobody should take up arms to intimidate maybe the court. And I want to inform
very quickly, Mr. Hassan, if you can hear me.
Shehu Shagari way. Yes, I can hear you. Shehu Shagari way, which they went through Transcorp, was a violation of the court order.
Okay.
So for me, it was an intended, premeditated action to provoke the law enforcement agent.
All right.
We all have to
Senior Advocate of Nigeria,
and see it from the prison that we need to safeguard our democracy, not for us to lead ourselves into war.
Lawyers, well, this is not a courtroom, but thank you so much. Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Deborah.
So, having seen this, what do you make of it? Do well to drop your comment in the comment section, all right? I have so many updates I want to share with you. So if this is your first time coming across my video, do well to subscribe, all right? Thank you very much. I'll see you in my next video. God bless you.